Good afternoon and welcome on Bar TV to what is just about the perfect football afternoon, I think. Not only is the weather playing nice, the sun is shining, there is scarcely a cloud in the sky. In fact, overhead I can see the moon off to our right, which is nice, a half moon there. There's a few clouds over on the horizon, but nothing overhead. A beautiful blue day for a very important game, and always special. It doesn't matter what competition you're in and what sport you're playing. When a local derby is happening, it's always a spectacle that adds a little bit to it. And this afternoon we've got one of the biggest ones in the Canberra region. It's the Queanbeyan Kangaroos up against the Queanbeyan Blues. The Kangaroos currently sit second on the ladder, and they're looking to lock up a top two spot over the next couple of weeks. They have 8 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw, and 21 competition points. The Queanbeyan Blues, well, they've struggled in the last couple of weeks. They've had some draws and some losses in there, and as a result they find themselves out of the finals race at the moment. They are sitting in 5th spot, 16 points, 3 points outside the top 4 with 6 wins, 5 losses and 2 draws. Alongside me, Chris Coleman in commentary this afternoon, Sonny Singh. Sonny, welcome to Bar TV.
Thank you, Chris. An absolute pleasure to be joining you here today. What should be a cracking game of football between the two Queanbeyan sides.
Now, we've got the Kangaroos in an unfamiliar purple jersey. We'll talk more about that in a second, but a very quick match preview, Sonny.
Yeah, well, both sides are going to be desperate for a win for very different reasons. The Roos have pretty much secured a top 4 spot, but they've come out and spoken about how important it is for them to finish inside the top 2, whilst the Blues are fighting to keep their season alive. From a Blues perspective, if you looked at their draw 4 weeks ago, you might have said that a top 4 spot looked likely, but they're sitting 3 points outside of it, as you mentioned, and they've dropped some big points over the past 3 weeks. So the 2 draws against the Bulls and Belconnen United have pretty much left their season hanging by a thread, so it's important for them to get up for this game and come away with the points.
They have indeed. We have the referees wired for sound this afternoon, which will be helpful as well. We'll go through the teams in just a moment, but I think it is worth mentioning a prostate cancer awareness and fundraiser for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos here. I know it's a cause very close to several of the players' heart here. Actually, testicular cancer. Sorry, not prostate. Testicular cancer. A cause very important to some of the players of the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, and that's their nominated charity for this year. And that is why they're wearing this unfamiliar light purple jersey this afternoon, which is going to make it interesting viewing for us a little while as we get used to the body shapes in the different jerseys. Let's go through who's out there as we see the Kangaroos have kicked off and given the ball to the Blues. But for the Roos, it's Grant in 1 at fullback. The wingers are Tonga and Tuck, while the centres Cronin and Henderson in 3 and 4. Crisp in 6, Hay in the 7 jersey this afternoon. Across the forwards, it's Dunn, Elton and Kiley across the front row. Nagiri and Ayres are your second rowers in 11 and 12, and Wiley is 13. The bench this afternoon, Hitchcock 14, Bradley 15, Baxter 16, and Hitchens in jersey number 17 when he takes to the field. The Queanbeyan Blues, couple of changes from their advertised jersey in the Canberra Region Rugby League football record.
Yeah, so we've got Eldridge lining up at fullback. We've got Barry in the number 2 jersey, but we're hearing he'll probably start from the bench. Taki is more likely to replace him. We've got Stevens and Baker in the centres, Kempese in the 5 jersey, Vijarak in the 6, Williams at 7 at halfback, McInnes, Patch and Woods line up at 8, 9 and 10, Mathers, Stuckey and Celerino in 11, 12 and 13, and off the bench, Barry, Mariner, Stain and Tui lining up in jersey 20.
And I can tell you indeed that Uli Taki in the 14 jersey has started for the Queanbeyan Blues, and he's playing in the right centre to start things off this afternoon. Making his CRRL debut this afternoon, you'll see him out there a little later on for the Blues in jersey 15, will be Newelli Mariner on his debut, and Zane Vijarak in the now he'll be actually wearing the 6 jersey, but he's playing on the wing on the other side of the field in this first half. Number 5, it's only his second game. His first game was also a Bar TV game for us. It was over at Seaford Oval from memory against Tuggeranong. He only lasted about 10 minutes and he copped a bit of a head knock, so he's been out for a few weeks, but he's back in play. And we've had the first penalty for this afternoon, and it puts the Kangaroos into attack. Let's see how we go with them as they've got coming in a dummy half. Elton just goes for a little bit run on the outside. I reckon that may have been Nagiri over the far side. It's a bit, Joe, I tell you, they look very, very different in these purple jerseys. This Queanbeyan Kangaroos side. They work it across to the left now. That's Derek Hay in the headgear. They come across to the outside, find Tonga. Tonga was in great form for them last week, and will he get a try early in this one? He will. I think that's his first touch for the day, Tonga, and he makes a 20-metre run and puts it in. Easy start for the Kangaroos this afternoon, Sonny.
Yeah, fantastic run by Tonga on the end of a good backline play. Showed tremendous strength to get over his winger in the end and scores over in the corner.
just pull out my notes from last week. We were down here last week for this game, for the Kangaroos game against the Yass Magpies, and Tonga scored a great try last week. It was it was a magnificent try. It was just at the start of the second half, just pushed off a Yass Magpies player and then ran over another Yass Magpies player to force the ball to the ground. That one a little bit easier, albeit scored from a little bit more distance, from about 20 metres out, and Tonga opens the account this afternoon, and we're only 2 minutes into this one, 4-0 to the home side. So, what have the Blues got? Always tough when you concede points at the start of the game. It just makes you question where you're at. You can't let it get into your head early in the piece. Here's a man with a veritable radar boot. Here's Brent Crisp. Mind you, they don't come much harder from this in terms of field position, do they? He's about 8 inches in from touch.
It's on his preferred side for a right-footed kicker. He's got something going for him.
Going against him is that wind. You can just hear blowing across our microphones. It's blowing straight down the ground, but he's curved it around into the breeze. Nicely done. And Brent Crisp, that's his 52nd goal for the season. A lazy 52. Got 5 last week, as the Kangaroos ran absolutely riot over the Yass Magpies. There was, I'll have to go from memory here, but I think it was 33 minutes. They scored 36 points at one stage last week. So they get the ball back, and that'll be Nick Grant fielding it at fullback for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos as they bring it out from their own line. You saw there, that was Uli Taki in the 14 jersey, getting up to make the tackle for the Blues, and then ducking back very, very quickly. As Blues said, they really need to not fall into the trap that Yass had last week. Yass were allowing this Queanbeyan Roos side to just make metres every tackle, and they were getting away with a good start and making 10, 12 metres every tackle. So forcing the Roos to kick, and that's picked up by Tristan Eldridge, and he runs across field. And going across field, not the most effective tactic. He's still tackled on the 10, and the Blues very slow to get back on side, so not too many options for them. I reckon there might be Tyler Stevens, who was in at the bottom there, getting tackled. Now they continue to work it out from their own end. Derek Hay up and in the tackle there for the Kangaroos, and Zach Patch it was who got in for the next play. So they're about 15 short of halfway. That was Jake Stein in the 17 jersey. Campese sort of across to Aaron McInnes. McInnes taking 10 short of halfway, and now the kick comes. Now, this is dangerous. Grant has acres of space in front of him. He'll look up, he'll work it and try and find a gap, but the Blues, they don't allow him one.
Yeah, much better kick chase there from the Blues.
Grant is a very dangerous player. We've seen him do it a number of times this season, where if you kick to him when he's got space, he'll just run at the line and jink late to create the gap to run through. And speaking about a gap to run through, that's for Tonga. He's just gone through the defensive line as though it wasn't there. It takes 3 of the Queanbeyan Blues to bring him to ground. That's what I was talking about earlier, about how this Roos side can make metres very, very quickly. That's Stuckey, the second rower. So they're inside the red zone now. Got numbers across to the right. Hay. And he finds Crisp. Crisp goes further out. That was done, but I reckon that was a forward pass, and we heard the referee call it as well. So, unlike last night, which we shall not talk about and we shall not dwell upon, other than to say, gee, the refereeing's been good in the Canberra Raiders Cup this year.
Don't get me started, Chris. Don't get me started.
No. You weren't broadcasting on radio last night, Sonny, and I can tell you that was not easy after that game to do things that did not cost a radio station its licence.
No, but ominous signs there for the Blues. Again, the Roos finding space out wide, and if the pass goes to hand or goes behind, they go in for their second.
Instead, with a 6-0 and 7 minutes or thereabouts gone, it is the Blues bringing it out, and they do that through Uli Taki. He's to the 20. Across to the left they go. Campese, you'll see him involved in just about every play while he's out there on the field. He has had a couple of, shall we say, involuntary spells off the field during the course of this season, roughly of the duration of about 10 minutes. So he has had a few occasions where he's not been backward about coming forward. Let's call it that. But when you see him out there, you'll see him in just about every play, and he makes... Having said that, never comes out on the wing. He just does it all from the middle of the paddock.
Well, he's got the number 5 jersey on his back, and he'd probably be the slowest swinger out there, I think.
There it is. You can see there, the big number 5 on Campese's back as he turns the ball around to the outside once again. They're just short of halfway. That was Eldridge, the fullback, getting onto the end of the movement. Campese puts the ball up high now. This will be good because it'll give his chasers time to get up and chase it. Grant stumbles a little as he takes the ball, but he gets up over the 20-metre line before he's brought to ground.
Fantastic spiral kick from Campese there as well.
That was a very slow play, the ball, and Derek Hay almost caught before he got offloaded from dummy half. So the Blues were up very, very quick in there. That's Reece Elton in at dummy half this time, and now we've got the penalty. See if we get anything further. No, we'll just get the hand signals. We won't actually hear anything.
Marker's not square there.
And now he speaks. So we just wait. Well, we don't have the referees wired for sound every game. It's something that we do occasionally have access to. Still got to work out how that all works. I think that's McGuinness again for the Queanbeyan Blues. He is a true workhorse for them. Front row forward. And this Roos side, I just think they are incredibly dangerous. If you give them 6 tackles from inside your territory, you're asking for trouble. That was Hay. Ball's kept alive. It comes back to Hay. Oh, he steps to his left and steps to his right, and he's finally tackled about 10 metres out. Patch, one of the tacklers. Eldridge, another one. Oh, dangerous signs. They've got players both sides. They slow it up for just a second. That was clever from Woods, I reckon it was, who slowed it up. And they'll continue to work it across. Done, steps, reaches, scores. Oh, too easy. Far too easy.
Well, that's too good a step for a front rower, I think.
He'll be out of the union, won't he? They'll kick him straight to the touchline, the front rowers union. That was far too easy. Good footwork and completely fooled the opposition in there. I think I actually called Jake Kiley, Aidan Woods in there as well. My apologies on that. When you're trying to you're used to seeing players in different jerseys, and Woods played for the Kangaroos last year. Sometimes things just come back from nowhere. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The try scored by Dunn. And so 10 minutes in with a kick to come, and at the moment the stiffest composition for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos is coming from the clock. They've gone a point a minute so far.
Yeah, ominous signs for the Blues. They conceded most of the tries last season, either up through the middle or on their right side, and the first 2 tries of this game have come in both areas.
They need some possession. They need to try and get a repeat set. The problem is they haven't really been able to get the ball inside the opposition 40. It's very hard to engineer a repeat set from 40 out. And this is the kind of kick here that Crisp just eats for breakfast. Just stabs at it and puts it over. 11 minutes gone, 12-0 the score. It's the home side in the Queanbeyan Derby. The Roos over the Blues. Catching it all thanks to our friends at Bloomer's Personal Injury Lawyers in the Osbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup for 2018. Chris Coleman and Sonny Singh on the deck this afternoon. I don't know if we're going to get the full length kickoff here. Oh, the low trajectory kickoff. Campo was lined up for something different there. And instead of going for Grant, he's gone for Hay with the low trajectory kick. Hay offloads and gives it off to Tonga, and Tonga is brought down inside the 20. And Hay into dummy half. They pop it across to the right. That'll be Troy Wiley. Haven't seen a lot of him so far this afternoon. And now Elton at dummy half. They just run it further forward, this Kangaroos side. I'm still getting used to this purple. It's very, very different. And I've got to confess, it's also a little bit hard to pick up the...
Going straight through here, Chris.
Oh dear, this could be big trouble. Had the halfback open on his left and the hooker open on his right and held onto the ball. Instead did Cronin. Now they come across to the left. This will be Baker. We've seen a couple of good tries scored in that corner of the field. over the past couple of weeks, and that's another one. Josh Baker gets it in just inside the post, just inside the stripe. 16-0, and this could become the Sears Workwear Oval Massacre on this Saturday afternoon here in Queanbeyan.
Yeah, that's right. I think Brent Crisp was probably about 20 points away from Joshua Mitchell as leading point scorer, but I think he'll be liking his chances if the game continues the way it is.
And apologies to Henderson, not Baker. Henderson. You change one thing in the equation and it just does your head in.
He might have been the only back to not have scored last week.
I think you're right.
With their win over Yass.
So he's got his second for the season. How Trish is that one, and I've called him the wrong name. Oh, it's horrible. Crisp 2 for 2. And this Kangaroos side, oh, they're in danger of being able to treat this like a training run as the afternoon progresses. So we had the Queanbeyan Kangaroos scored. It was about the second minute. It was Tonga who went over about 20. In almost the same spot actually as that try was just scored.
And again, it's that right edge.
And then it was 8 minutes later. We saw it done. No. You hear the no from the referee in the background. So Crisp has his first miss for this afternoon. 14 minutes gone. 16-0 the score. Interesting to try and work out who gets the try of the day, but I reckon that one from Henderson might just be there at the moment in terms of spectacular finish.
Oh dear, from the kick-off the ball's gone dead.
There's a bit of breeze behind the Kangaroo, behind the Blues in this first half, and well, they've really not been able to use it. They had the opportunity there, and they've got it dead.
I think the winger will be happy to blame the wind on that one.
We'll give it a helping hand. So now the Blues will get a chance to strike back, and they certainly need to score next. They probably need to score the next try after that as well. So the line dropout, working towards the near touchline, and it's taken by Zane Bidjarak. Haven't seen much of him. Only about 10 minutes playing his debut, which was a few weeks ago. Now taking it forward is McInnes. Aaron McInnes gets to the 30. They're going to go left, but instead go to the right with a little run from dummy half. Then it's on to Campese. Campese gets a player on his outside who ducks into a tackle, making it look higher than it was. Now they've got numbers right across the park. Campese, who does he look for? Well, he drops it back behind, finds Williams. Williams has support, comes back to him now. Now it's on to Taki Taki. Taki Taki about 2 metres short of the line. This is what the Blues are capable of. They haven't shown as much of it this season as they would have liked. Now Williams goes for a little darting run. This is the last tackle. Can they get the repeat set if they can't score? Well, they will. There's a knock-on from Queanbeyan Kangaroos in there for mine.
We've got an offside, we've got a ricochet and picked up by a player in front of him.
You can take your pick on any number of offences in there. Of course, Sonny, you've spent a bit of time refereeing rugby league.
I have back in the day. I think we're talking 2005, so it's always good to come out and referee a few local games. People are very passionate in Canberra.
Absolutely they are. The Blues now with this repeat set. What can they do with it? They give it to Giueli Celerino. He's hit hard. He's already got the head strapped, has Celerino. I don't know whether it's strapped or just a headband that he's wearing. Williams, the halfback, puts the ball. Oh dear, he's butchered it. He had 2 men on his outside. He had Taki Taki and also Bidjarak. Threw it over the top of Taki Taki, and Bidjarak was well committed, I think, to a faster ball or to a quick on pass from Taki Taki, and yeah, instead the ball goes into touch. That's wasteful.
Yeah, it broke down there, and 16-0 down after 17 minutes. It was a good opportunity there to get back into the game.
And so it'll be the Kangaroos now. Alright, so one tackle off the scrum and they're just inside their own 10. That's done. I'll work it forward. The markers are going to do a lot of tackling this afternoon, because if you don't, you just allow this, big hit, you allow this Queanbeyan Kangaroos side to make it up the ground far too quickly. That was Wiley. Done again. He has support from Ayres. Last tackle, so they're only just over halfway. What's Crisp got by way of a kick? It's a high kick coming out of the shadows under the goalpost. In fact, then he has to turn back around. Eldridge, oh no! Oh dear, he's dropped it. It's gone back into the post. He's completely lost sight of it. I have absolutely no idea who it is for the Roos who's dived in under the post, because they were coming in numbers. There could have been only about 5 players get through to score that. I'll see if we can work it out. You got any idea for us, Sonny?
No idea. I was too busy admiring the kick from Brent Crisp. That is a fullback's nightmare, that bomb.
Was it kicked into the breeze, but then the breeze just dropped. Oh, Chris got a little bit lucky. The breeze dropped and the ball went over the head of Eldridge. He's turned around and tried to get it, and just made a complete meal of it. Dropped it back into the posts. And I think at that point he was going so quickly that he's charged back and he's overrun the ball that he's knocked back. And at that stage, this purple army that you could call the Queanbeyan Kangaroos have just charged up and swallowed it whole. Less than 20 minutes gone and they're 20-0 up, and this will become 22-0 any moment now. They honestly had time to sell raffle tickets to that one to determine who was going to get the try. Too easy.
Converted by Crisp. He's 3 from 4 so far. But that torpedo kick, you felt sorry for the fullback, because the ball hadn't even started coming down and you knew he wasn't going to catch it.
Well, he looked to have it covered, and then suddenly he didn't have it covered. We'll see if we can get that. We don't have a ground announcer operating this afternoon either, which we normally do here. Mind you, last week there were a couple of occasions where we worked out who the try scorer was before the ground announcer had, so it doesn't always work. This Queanbeyan Kangaroo side, watch, look at it, they're almost walking a foot taller.
Well, it's another strong carry from the kickoff from Tonga. He's almost acting as an additional forward off these kickoffs and kick returns.
I like the look of this bloke too, Wiley. He's just good. And he stays upright in the tackle. And that makes your opponents tired. Go for the kick downfield. It's a flatter kick taken by the Blues. Now what can they do with it? Well, again, it's a crossfield chased by himself.
Fantastic kick chase.
They just slings him to the ground. Does Ayres, with a little bit of help from Crisp. And now the penalty. Holding on. So the Blues will get a bit of relief. Now, what can they do with this? They're on their own 30, not far from touch, but they should be able to get it up past halfway, and do. About 5 metres past. Probably could have gone for a little bit further with that breeze behind them, but... Yeah.
It's good to see the touch judge put his flag up for the right reasons, though, isn't it?
Oh, settle down. Settle. Josh Stuckey over the 40 towards the 30. They're going to the left with Jake Stein. I'll get one more tackle where they'll make easy yardage, and they do that. Campese onto Eldridge, and now this is where this Queanbeyan Kangaroos defence suddenly gets tougher and stronger. When you get inside the red zone, they get up so fast and they just restrict your options, and there you go. You see McInnes makes maybe 2 metres for them. And they'll come out full tilt again. Campese goes to the right, cuts a couple out, finds Stuckey.
Oh,
Stuckey has gone straight through. Now, Stuckey had Tacky on his outside, but didn't need him. Gets the ball down. Gets 4 points back. So the game's still going about on a point a minute. What are we, 22 minutes into the game? Got 26 points in the game, but the first 4-pointer for the afternoon to the Queanbeyan Blues. Good play from Josh Stuckey, and he's got his 7th for the season, and I reckon most of those have come in the past 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, he ran a very good line there. I think the Roos probably expecting the ball to go out the back, but Stuckey holds his line. It's a good ball on the inside and strolls over untouched pretty much.
Had plenty of support outside. And we're thinking it was Cronin who got the hand on the ball for the Kangaroos off the awful mix-up at the other end of the park. I'm prepared to give it to him with the usual proviso that we give here on Bar TV, that none of the stats that we give in this game are official CRRL stats, as Campese, well, it wasn't the best looking conversion attempt, but he's got it over. And he's closed the gap back to 16 points, 22-6, 17 till half-time.
That'll boost the confidence as well for the Blues. Probably their second serious attacking foray into the Roos 20-metre zone, and they've come away with points, so...
So the Blues respond. Can they do it again? They'll get the ball back, of course. They get the next one, it'll start to get interesting again. A very fast-paced game. Williams allowing it to bounce a couple of times, and they... Tacky again down there. I think it was. They'll work it out to the right now. Stuckey, the try scorer. Now through to the left. Williams, Campese. Oh, Campese's pass. Didn't think it was that hard to read, but the Blues lost it backwards and then forwards. Well, I hate to say this is probably about to get really dangerous for the Blues, but it's going to, because this will be a scrum feed to the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, and it'll be on about their, midway between maybe their 20 and their 30.
Yeah, immediately after points, you just want to complete that set. They tried an early backline play, hasn't come off, and they'll be under pressure again here from the Roos.
The Kangaroos on their way again. That's Cronin, I think. That's with Hitchens. Hitchens, a man who went within a whisker of playing in 2 premierships last year. I'll explain more about that in a little while. As we see Crispin spin it around, finds Hay on his outside. Hay pops it across to Henderson. Ty Henderson has one already this afternoon, was looking for his second. Could have given it off to Tonga on his left, but never really got the chance to get the ball away. Now it's Hitchens again, as he's charging, he nearly loses the ball, manages to keep a grip on it. Only about a metre short of the line, I'd reckon. Crisp going across, finds Grant. Grant, very dangerous play. They get hold of him and just stop him short of the line. Pop the ball up to Steve Dunn, who was going at pace. And I think he's actually lost the ball. He has, and has come up with it with the Blues there. So the Blues get out of jail, and they resist a good set, and now they'll get some bonus metres as well, Sonny. Yeah,
that's a great response from the Blues. Make an error after points. You've got to defend your goal line, and they did that very well.
And there's something that any Raiders fans watching will remember, the great penalties that Campese used to take, the drop kicks to get the ball well out of dodge, and from inside his 10 he's got the penalty kick up to the 40, giving his side a much better foundation to build their attack on. And can they now score twice in a row? That's the question. They've got a chance. We've just got another substitution in there, so Tsui Tai is on. He's the big fella in number 20, standing about the middle of the line for the Queanbeyan Blues. He might get it this time as Eldridge comes into dummy half and puts it across to him. That is Tui.
Number 8, mate, number 8.
Side Tui. He gets the penalty with a bit of assistance from Steve Dunn. So Dunn has scored a try and given away a penalty. And now, what can the Roos do? This is training drill, isn't it? Really, this is the training drill. You get the ball on the 20, what can you do with it? They give it to Stuckey. See Stuckey turn into the tackle there, hoping that someone was behind him so he could pop the ball back, but no one was following. Patch a dummy half. That's Williams. Finds Woods. Going to come back to the right, I think. They do. Stuckey. Tacky. And
got a forward pass here.
Oh, the referee, the touchies had given him the call, given him the nod. Touchy was in perfect position for it and not afraid to make the call. Not afraid to stick to the call, and it'll be a scrum feed to the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. We've got to let last night go, haven't we?
We do.
We've got to let it go.
We've got to move on.
So it'll be the Kangaroos to bring it out from their own end of the scrum feed on the 10. A handy but not insurmountable 16-point lead, but the Blues, we've seen them self-destruct a couple of times this season. The game at Seaford Oval, I mentioned it earlier, the game where Zane Bincherack made his debut against Tuggeranong. Tuggeranong came out that day, and it's been a lean couple of years for the Tuggeranong side, and they really wanted to make a statement against this Queanbeyan Blues side, of course, defending premiers in the Canberra Raiders Cup, and make a statement. The Tuggeranong side did. Not only did they win the game comfortably, the second half of that game, I think it took 20, maybe even 25 minutes for the Queanbeyan Blues to have a tackle, to take a tackle in the attacking half of the field.
That's phenomenal.
They were held back in their own half whenever they had the ball for the first 25 minutes of the second half. It was a phenomenal performance, and it was at that point that every other side in this Osbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup this year put their hand up and said, yep, this Queanbeyan side, this Tuggeranong side, they may well be a bit of a threat. And Tuggeranong, I think, have sat on top of the table ever since that game. So they're the yardstick, and I think that was probably the turning point in this Queanbeyan Blues side season as well. They were going along okay at that point, but since then they've struggled a bit. And as we mentioned prior to the game, 6 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, and some of those losses have been by some fairly decent margins. And so their for and against is only, well, was +7 going into the game. So live competition for and against for them, they would now be -9.
We've just seen another penalty for being inside the 10 off the kick chase. So another piggyback for the Blues to get out of their own end.
They're not making the meters, are they?
No, they're not. The line speed has been very good from the Roos this half.
That's Tui. Just short of halfway. Got plenty of numbers across to the right. They can get it out to Taki. Can he straighten? He can. Henderson had a hand on the ball, and it's come free in there. Lost back. I reckon there were 2 in the tackle there. Very lucky he didn't get very unlucky he didn't get a penalty. Where's Taki? Campese approaching the 40. They turn around and find Eldridge. Eldridge, that could have been forward. Let's just go with it. That went back and blew forward as it went to Stuckey. Stuckey then popped to Eldridge, who gave it back to Stuckey. He's got one. He pops it around to the outside. Oh, that's magic rugby league. That's a great team try. Campese with a flat pass in the middle of the field, and then you had Stuckey and Eldridge. I'm trying to think of the last.
We've got a punch on.
Oh, it had to be. We have to have the obligatory Queanbeyan Derby punch on, don't we? Let's just continue to analyse that try, because I'm trying to think, how often do you see a second rower and a fullback indulge in a little quick 1-2-1 play?
Beautiful. I think I saw a flick pass in there as well from Stuckey.
It was nice, and then he got it across to Williams, who was screaming for the ball on the outside.
Great support play from Williams there. It's important your players push up in support when breaks are made, and he's done a good job there and gone under the post.
So 22-8. No, 22-10. Scoreboard says 22-8.
Correct. Campese did make his first kick.
They'll get to that. They'll work that out. So let's make it 22-10. With about 10 minutes till the break. Now we might just see if we can hear what's going on there with the referee for this.
Contact. I just saw him swing. I didn't see any contact. That's all I saw. I just thought I was blocked by the post. I've got number 5 phone punches.
Oh. Which number 5?
I've had Queanbeyan trainer spraying it.
Queanbeyan trainer, that doesn't help us much either.
Not from Reed. Number 5 from the office. Like a warning for both teams as well.
I think I may have foreshadowed this earlier. If they're talking about who I think they're talking about, he's not going to be taking the conversion, is he? Let's just see if let's wait for it.
So we got number 5 from the Blues. I've seen him throw punches, but I haven't seen him land or make contact. But I've still seen him throw punches. Cool. You have got many punches.
Yep. There's been a few of those this season, and not entirely surprised by that outcome.
No, disappointing for the Blues. You know, they've scored a try. Momentum's starting to shift in their favour, and now they're going to have to deal with 12 men for 10 minutes.
And Terry just walking off, a few squirts of liquid from the water bottle on his way as... well, that's all we'll see of him for the first half, I would imagine. He might just go and get himself set up in the dressing sheds for the half-time address. The scoreboard says there's 10 minutes left. It'll be Josh Baker to take the conversion attempt now. He's had 6 conversions for the season, and I'd reckon several of those have probably come when Terry Campisi's been off the field. I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't laugh, but it's... I talked about it earlier, and yeah, how often do you talk about things and the complete opposite happens? So when it happens the other way, as it's popped straight over off the boot of Josh Baker for his seventh goal for the season. 22-12, and we've suddenly got a bit of a live one here now.
We do, and you've got to love Terry's passion, but this situation, 10 to go before half-time, your team's done well to get back into this game, and it just makes it all that tougher to keep this momentum going.
But again, how many times have we seen it this year, especially in NRL games? Sides go down to 12 and score when they're down to 12. We've seen that happen a lot this year.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic with the way teams play when the opposition is down to 12. You know, you still got to do the hard work and make the meters up the middle before you go wide.
The other plus for the Queanbeyan Blues here is that they've actually got the ball off the restart here, and if they're clever and engineer another set with the ball, then it will really just set them up nicely to get through the remainder of the half with the numerical disadvantage. So what have the Blues got? That was David Barry in the 2 jersey coming into dummy half. Now we see Aidan Woods on a little bit of a run. He's about 8 short of halfway. Zig it around Williams. That's a clever little kick if he can recover. Oh, and he's done well to recover. Gives it across to Stuckey. Stuckey gets it on the outside. Goes back to Bidgerak. He's knocked that back. But
yeah, it's the right call here. So we've had a player held back. I think it was Stuckey held back by... It looks like Josh Ayres might have held him back.
Doesn't matter who's held him back, but they've engineered the repeat set.
Well, tell me, is that not a professional foul? I think if Stuckey catches that, he's got support on his outside and they might go over to score.
Another 5 metres closer to the line, it may well have been deemed that. I think from outside the 20 it's a bit hard to call that with several other players involved in the play. But what have the Blues got here? That was Woods taking it forward, so they're 15 from the line.
1, 2, move!
Is that Tui in there? Well, let's see as they come across to the right. Stuckey, gee, he's been good this afternoon. Eldridge pops it around. He finds Tacky pops it back now to Stevens. Tyler Stevens, a try-scoring machine. He's got 8 for the season and went very close to his 9th there. Just wrapped up, just short. Long ball bounces in front of Williams. Williams sends it across. Finds Mariner on debut. Noelle Mariner. Down to the left. Williams has run it around. And they've got another penalty here. Referee giving plenty of communication out there this afternoon. Charging onto the short tap was Mariner. They've got 3 sets in a row here with a man down. I reckon that's Dylan Mathers. Yet to score a try for the Blues this season. Not too far off with that one. Williams again. Stevens back on the inside. And Eldridge taken high around the head. Now this game we've already seen a bit of push and shove happen.
Wait. Onside, boys, wait.
They'll take their time. They'll get set. They're very compressed here. And the tap will go to Barry instead. Gives it to Stuckey. Stuckey just runs straight at Derek Hay. Can't quite get through him. Go left. Williams again. Williams dummies. Turns back around to his right. Then back to his left as he ducks out of the tackle. Oh, he had the gap to his right. Didn't see it. Gives it to Mathers instead.
Hands off.
Barry at dummy half. Had a couple of players running quickly. They go for the long ball out to the far side of the field. Run around play. It's Tyler Stevens. What's he doing over that side? He was over this side a minute ago, and now they're pushed into touch. I don't know if that was the right option for the Queanbeyan Blues to go all the way across there, run it around. They're already a man short. They're trying to engineer an overlap on the far side of the field, Sonny. I don't know whether that was the right call.
No, and you see what the loss of Campese has done just in terms of overall structure. We've got a few plays that have broken down over the last 2 sets, and in the end they end up running them over the sideline.
Well, that's 5 solid minutes of possession, though, for the Queanbeyan Blues. If there's a side you don't want to be defending one man short against, it's this Queanbeyan Kangaroos side. Not so hazardous down this end of the park, as long as you pick your man, and Dylan Mathers did just that.
Hold, go, 1.
Now they give it to Tonga, and we've seen this man cause havoc already this afternoon. He does not like to be tackled. He likes to push off tacklers. He did it a couple of times against Yass last week, and he was trying to put Jordan Williams away as though he was a recalcitrant apple core into the incinerator there, just pushing and pushing. And he got it out to the 30-metre line. It's been about their best for mine this afternoon, Tonga. He's just been a real machine when he gets the ball. Every time he's made metres. Mind you, this bloke hasn't done too badly either, has he? As they get to about 10 short of halfway. So it's been a good defensive set for the Blues, and they hang on to it, and the ball is knocked on by the Kangaroos, and the Blues won't be in any hurry to pick that ball up. Hitchens in there, the last man. It was. I don't think it was him who knocked it on, but he was in there to try and get to it.
And that'll wind the clock down just that little bit more.
If there is such a thing as a good sin bin period, then so far the Blues have had that. So 3 to go, or 3 and a bit to go before half time. Scoreboard clock here only gives us a whole number of minutes. It doesn't give us seconds in there. Oh dear, that's horrible. Early tacky went into the candy shop to buy the 50-cent bag of mixed lollies, but only had a 20-cent piece. Lost the lot. So yeah, we don't have the seconds on the official game clock here. I can tell you it's ticked over to 2 minutes now. So the Kangaroos, well, showing the Blues anything you can do, we can do similar. Tuckwell wound up with it on the far side. Cronin saw the ball go behind him. At least I think it was Cronin. I'm still really struggling to pick these Kangaroos players this afternoon. They look completely different in this light purple jersey. That was crisp. No mistaking him. Now way over the far side of the ground. Crisp. Turns it around. That's Hitchens in the 17 jersey. There's been a whistle.
He's just got to play it on the mark, I think.
Oh, okay, so he grabbed a couple of extra metres. They'll go around to the right. Crisp puts it on the outside, gets it back, tries to get through. He's popped one out the back. Cronin spins out of one tackle. Tries to get the ball to ground. He's lying flat on his back. This is the last. And good work from the dummy half.
Yeah, it's fantastic market defence.
And you hear the referee saying, "Oh, he was onside." It's good work from the dummy half to get the ball away from the very quick marker who'd come through. And what have we got? 34 seconds or thereabouts until half time. I don't think we'll see anything fancy from the Blues here as they play the ball right on their own line. That's Tui brings it out for them to start with. They work it across to the right. Mariner was on that run. And further across to the far side of the field they go. The Kangaroos tackling in numbers to try and get the ball back, but the siren sounds to end the first 40 here, and after a first 20 minutes that was looking all purple, we've got a much closer affair than perhaps we were anticipating at the midpoint of that half, Sonny.
It's been entertaining. It's been end-to-end stuff, and I think for as good a start as the Roos had, the Blues came back into the game on the back of a bit of possession. So you'd think if it goes that same way in the second half, it might get even a little bit closer.
So let's just recap what we've seen there. The try from Tonga was a cracker to start things off. Just the second minute, Tonga charging over from 20 metres out on the left wing. Was followed up by Dunn with some fancy footwork, front rowers and fancy footwork. It just doesn't sound right. Then we had Henderson. Ty Henderson was over in the 14th. So 14 minutes, it was 3 tries and it was 16-0. And they kept pace with the clock, or ahead of the clock, with another try in the 20th minute, which was, that was Cronin. And it was probably the luckiest try he'll get all season, where the Blues fullback Tristan Eldridge just completely lost control of a great kick. Spiralling, wobbly old thing from Crisp that went just over Eldridge's head, and he turned around and got a hand on it, dropped it into the goalpost, and by the time he had any chance to try and recover it, there were about 5 Queanbeyan Kangaroos players, by my reckoning, who had a chance to get to it. And at that point it was 22-0 and it was looking very, very ugly, but it then turned around and the Queanbeyan Blues, they scored a couple. Josh Stuckey had the first one for them about 10 out from half time, or about 15 out from half time, we should say. And he charged over from about 7 or 8 metres out, just pinned the ears back and went through a little gap just to the right of the posts. And then it was Jordan Williams was the second try scorer for the Blues. The culmination of a team try that we saw involving at various stages Campese, Eldridge, Stuckey on a couple of occasions, and Williams scoring under the dot in the end. But before the conversion could be taken, Terry Campese was dispatched to the sin bin. And that was 10 minutes, almost exactly 10 minutes before half time. And the score was 22 points to 12. It remains 22 points to 12, despite what the scoreboard is telling us here at Sears Workwear Oval. It is definitely 22-12. And we'll have the second half for you on Bar TV shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sears Workwear Oval in Queanbeyan for this round 15 Osbreakers Canberra Raiders Cup clash. Second half of the Queanbeyan Derby, the second Queanbeyan Derby for the season, the Kangaroos and the Queanbeyan Blues. And we've checked the stats for the first half, and, well, we did say we thought that it was too good a step for a front rower, that try in the 10th minute for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos. And as it turns out, it wasn't actually a front rower. It was Crisp, Brent Crisp getting over. And we'll just wear the error and say, yeah, we got that one wrong. So it's been one of those afternoons. But, yeah, it was actually Brent Crisp with the second try for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos this afternoon. And good afternoon to everyone at the Greenhouse Fan Forum. That's what you get for calling me Peter Griffin earlier in the year. Okay, let's get out to the game as the Kangaroos bring it back out from their own line. They've got a 10-point break, 22 points to 12. And for the Queanbeyan Blues, a loss here this afternoon, well, it could be their season, so they really do have a lot to play for in this next 40, Sonny Singh.
Yeah, they do have a bye still in hand, but they do have to end the season against Tuggeranong, so, and already being 3 points outside the top 4, this is pretty much a must-win game.
Come step the left one.
And there's Crisp, puts the kick down into the corner of the field. Oh, he's dropped that backwards. As Eldridge, he has not had a good afternoon under the high ball. You heard the referee. Oh!
Hit hard.
Oh, he's absolutely crunched. Who's that he ran into? It's Nuka Nagiri who's collected him. He's got up and he's okay, but Nagiri, he's a potent attacking machine. He hasn't done much attacking this afternoon, but that was some good defence from him there. And this Queanbeyan Blues side, they are struggling to make ground to start the second half. I think they're back to 13. Oh, they are now. There we go. Terry Campese just jogging on now. So he had about 30 seconds extra to serve of his time in the sin bin in the second half. That's David Barry to the middle of the park. Campese comes into dummy half. And the kick comes now. What will the Blues do with the kick? Well, it must be something about kicking to this end, because Ryan Tuckwell there, he struggled, turned around, lost the ball behind him, and very nearly lost it in the tackle as well.
That's a great chase from Williams on his own kick as well.
Did very well. So we are slightly sheltered where we are. We're not. There's not a great deal of shelter for us. The camera stand is right next to us. It does allow a bit of breeze through, but maybe just out at ground level it's a little bit more blowy, and the Blues are running into it. And they put the ball up, and maybe it's just going to be a little bit harder for the Kangaroos this half than perhaps we were anticipating. There's the Roos now, bring it out. They get to halfway, or just about to halfway. And in fact over halfway with the kick, and now it's the Blues again, so they turn it around. Stepping and going, nice little step from Josh Baker, turns back on the inside. Good footwork. Is that Mathers down the bottom? It was. Taken just short of the 40, so that's a good start, a good foundation for the Blues here. Certainly better than their last set. No rush to get up. That's Tui. They cross the stripe and make another 10. So they're making yards, and they're making them fairly easily. That was Mariner. Now Campese, he kicks it over, and Tyler Stevens waits for the bounce, can't get it, it goes away from him. Another one of his teammates tapped it forward, and then the Kangaroos have plucked it out of the air. That was dangerous play. Grant comes into dummy half, does the fullback for the Kangaroos, and they turn it back around, and they like to work it up the middle, this Kangaroos side, and they do so once again. Some pretty ordinary defence from the from the Blues. Oh, and then suddenly I say that and the ball goes free, and the Blues have picked it up. I mean, that's Tui who's got it, and he's only a couple of metres short. Well, pretty ordinary defence with suddenly a slap at the ball's got it there. It's been picked up from David Barry. He's scurried towards the line from dummy half. Has he got the ball down? He has. And we're going to be within a try. Well. Well,
he's barely been on the field for very long, Barry, and he's come up with a great little try from dummy half. A couple of early warning shots sounded off by the Blues as well. A bit unlucky with the kick bounce from Campese earlier. They got the ball back, whether it was from a one-on-one strip, I'm not sure, but they've quickly turned it into points, Chris.
It looked like a strip. I had the binoculars on it. It looked like it was just a desperate hand in there. I can't remember which one of the Kangaroos players it was, but he'd gone across field and managed to evade a couple of tackles, and so he got to. Then there was the slap. The ball came free. Johnny on the spot, or should I say Tui on the spot, picked it up and got close enough to the line, and the Roos didn't really ever get set in defence there, and you need to be when the ball's only 2 metres out from the line. Barry realised it and just dived through. Seen a few tries like that as well this year in this Osbreakers Canberra Raiders Cup. Now Campese back to put the conversion over, stabs it through. 22-18. Oh, we've got the close one this afternoon now. This is good. 4 points the difference, 36 minutes remaining in the Queanbeyan derby. Doesn't get much better than this in local footy.
That's right. Well, it's been a game of momentum at the moment. I think we had 22 unanswered points by the Roos early on, and then now we've had 18 unanswered points by the Blues.
Absolutely, we have. So what have the Blues got as they bring the ball out? Remind me, I've got to tell the Josh Hitchens story as well before the game's done. I hate that when we tease something in the first half and don't get to it in the second half, so we've got to make sure we get to that. But right now, we should be talking about this Queanbeyan Blues side, because Josh Baker, well, he went for one good run a few minutes ago and he's gone for another one. He took that inside his 20 on the wing, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what, they haven't been afraid to throw the ball around inside their own 20, from a kickoff so far today. It backfired once in the first half, but the other 2 times they've done it, they've picked up some good metres from it.
Now it's Campese onto Mathers. Mathers in the 11, and he's to the 40. Now Barry, right to Campese. Campese looks across, finds Williams. He's been impressive today as well. Quick ball to Stuckey. That's been a great little combination. There's something you don't say every day either. Great combination between the 7 and the 12, but that's been there. Williams gets in again. Now it's Taki, I think this time on the far side of the field, about as far as you can get. And the Blues, well, rather interestingly, deciding to run it on the last play from the 30, get to the 20 before they've got to hand the ball over. Maybe a little bit of poor game management there, but they're not giving the ball to the Queanbeyan Kangaroos in huge field position, so not a bad outcome.
Ominous signs there for the Roos, though. I mean, they've gone 70 metres from the kick-off there, and Williams and Stuckey have both looked good today.
20.
Just a couple of minutes to get everything set.
Up now.
So I'll tell this Hitchens story. Now, is he out there at the moment in the 17? Can you see him out there? I can't actually see him out there, but I'll mention it while the Blues make their way out from their own end, and they'll get a helping hand here. So Josh Hitchens last year was playing rugby union. I think it was rugby union for. I can't remember who he was playing for. It was in the Monero competition, and he also played rugby league for Cooma. So it was rugby league on Saturdays, rugby union on Sundays. Broke his arm in the preliminary final for Cooma in the second last game of the season. Missed out on the grand final in rugby league and rugby union, and both missed out on the grand final in both competitions, and they both sides won. So that's pretty tough. Though we've got to try here, have we? They've worked it around under the posts.
That might be your man there.
Hitchens? There you go. Tell the story about a guy who gets a try right next to the posts. That worked out well. You willing to give it to him? You've got the binoculars on him. Are they congratulating him enough, do you think?
Just need him to turn around so I can confirm the number on his back.
Well, if he's got his right arm strapped, it's him. If he hasn't got his right arm strapped, then it's not. How about that? I don't think it is.
Just jog it across quickly, mate, before it sets up kick.
So welcome to the world of rugby league commentary, Sonny. This is where it just goes on and on. As you know which bloke you're looking out for now, or have we given up? You can try and work that out while I'll keep an eye on Chris with the conversion. He's 3 from 4 this afternoon. You would imagine this will be 4 from 5.
Your call here, Benny.
Just a little bit across to the left, but he gets it over. And we're back out to the larger margin. 10 points at the break and 10 points now, but half an hour to go.
Don't go early. That's right.
Campese kicks off right down into the far corner of the field. It's taken by Elton.
Lost legs, mate. Yep.
But Hay were the two players who it could have gone to.
Up and down.
I think the Kangaroos have just lifted a little in intensity in the last couple of minutes here.
Hands out. Let's go.
With that try, and now a kick early from Chris from inside the 40. It's towards the 20. Oh, that's a great kick. That's a tremendous kick. Tristan Eldridge realised what was coming, but it was too late by the time he'd worked out what was coming. The ball was well on trajectory to cross the line, and the Kangaroos, having just scored, will get another shot at this, and they'll do it from 10 out. So not just a 40, that was nearly a 30-10. This gives you an indication of what that breeze is worth down there at ground level. Well, that was Eldridge in there on the run. Now they're working it through. Nagiri tried to cheat his way towards the line, couldn't get there. That's Bradley, hasn't scored for the Kangaroos thus far this season as Crisps gets it, steps off to the left, sends it around the outside to Hay. Hay has support from a couple of players, pops it out the outside. Still got it. That's a pretty ordinary pass picked up by Nagiri. Nagiri only runs away from a tackle from one and is then tackled by two, including Stein. Pop the ball back again. Chris had a call from the fullback on the outside. Oh, they popped the ball back into the field of play, but I think it had gone over the sideline. It had, and it'll be a changeover to the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, or from the Blues to the Roos. Other way around, from the Roos to the Blues. It's so hard to get it right, isn't it?
It's a good one-on-one tackle there from Stevens. Shuts down the play.
And the handover right just inside the sideline there. So we're going to give it to Hitchens and just be done with it? I think we'll just give it to you, mate. We've got to give it to someone.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Exactly.
Chris.
Well, it worked in the first half, and we'll just stick with it. If you're going to be wrong, but confident, my friend. As the Queanbeyan Blues bring it out from their own end of the field. They've got nearly 100 metres to go in a set here. And that'll help them. No, it's not, says the referee. So plenty of conversation. Now Campese kicking to the touchline on this side. He was originally going to go the other way and then realised, no, coming to the camera side of the ground is probably the better option. The wind really is starting to pick up a little bit and push towards this side of the ground. Mathers with the ball takes the Blues across halfway. That'll be Stein, I reckon.
Off the ball. Yeah, that's the thing. Hold.
Campese to the Williams. Williams then finds Stuckey again. He's been very busy this afternoon. It's time to Stein. So that's about 10 out from the line. Come left. Campese turns it back on the inside. Finds his fullback. That's Eldridge. Keeps the grip of the ball. Last tackle. Barry thinks about going himself. Doesn't. Williams to Stuckey. Stuckey puts a little kick through. And the Roos bring it just back into the field of play.
Yeah, probably not ideal having your second rower kick on last tackle, but again, they look good with the ball in hand, the Blues.
Well, Stuckey's done plenty this afternoon. He might as well have a little grubber kick too. He scored. He's set one up. I think he may have even got another try assist in there somewhere.
He's been their best player by a mile today, I think.
Absolutely. And a reminder, of course, our man of the match each week on our Bar TV coverage picks up a $50 voucher courtesy of the Raiders group of clubs. Great place to go after the games, or a great place to watch Raiders games as well, just quietly. As the Blues, well, they've got this set. This will be starting in good position if they can get back on side in time. Wow, they've only got 3 players back on side. Stevens did well to hang on to the pill there. And it's a backline as it goes. Baker, Eldridge, Bidgerak. And Bidgerak makes no real ground and is just wrapped up on the 40. Which way do they go? They continue to work it on the far side of the ground. That's Taki. And they work it forward. Stein tries to push out of a tackle. Gets another couple of metres. Now Campese goes for a run, has a look, had 3 players on his outside. Who'd he pick? He picked the fullback. Gave it to Eldridge, and Eldridge, slippery customer, pops the ball away to Barry, then to Williams. Oh, they put it down of the Blues, and it's been picked up by the Roos. Oh, that was such a promising play. We've talked about it a couple of times today, how they're willing to throw the ball around, but sometimes it proves to be their undoing. In Henderson it was, he's picked it up for the Kangaroos, and they make their way back across halfway on just the second tackle of this set, and they do it again through Tonga, who's been one of the best for the Roos today. He has been impressive today. And for a winger, he's such a big boy. He's almost Jonah Lomu-esque, isn't he?
He's scored a couple in a similar fashion to the try he scored today. You know, you get him one-on-one with a winger and you'll back him in 9 times out of 10.
Now, Hitchens. Very quick little ball the way it was. Did not fool the defence for a moment. Wiley was wrapped up fairly quickly. That's Grant, the fullback. Now Crisp goes across the field. Easy find. That pass might have been forward from Ayres to Tonga. Not called, and it'll be a try to Whanua Tonga in the other corner of the field, the diagonally opposite corner of the field from the first one that he scored earlier today.
Tell you what, it's the ball from Crisp that gets a centre on the outside. That's an absolute beauty. The last one is questionable, but the pass from Crisp is absolutely special.
The delivery of Crisp this season has been truly something to behold. So, you said before it's been a game of momentum, and you've been absolutely spot on there, Sonny. What was it? 22 points. The first 22 points of the game scored by the Kangaroos. Then we had 18 scored by the Roos, and now we've had, this will be 16, I think, by the end of this. By the
what are we at? We're at 32-18 at the moment. So another 10.
10.
So another 10.
That'll be 12 then.
What is this? Don't give him the time of day.
Won't give you the time of day. Love the little conversations that we pick up there from ground level, the little snippets that make their way through.
He's having a game and a half, isn't he, Brent Crisp? He's scored a try, he's kicking goals, he's kicked a 40-20, he's set up a few tries as well.
Well, he got man of the match last week, did Crispy? Got 4 conversions from 5. Make that 5 conversions from 6. That's a pretty decent effort. So 5 conversions. So that makes it 34 by my book, doesn't it? Does that sound right to you? 34?
That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Now they've caught up on the scoreboard now. This is what was confusing us. And hang on, my numbers, I've got this. And yeah, so they've scored 12 points. So yeah, they scored 22. Blues scored 18. Roos scored 12. So following that pattern, then it should be the Blues to score next and probably score 8 or 10.
Well, they need to if they're going to keep this game going.
True.
The season is very much on the line. 22
minutes remaining, but it's the Blues who kick off and they give it to the Roos. And again, the Roos just work it up through the middle of the park. Blues starting to lie down just a little bit in the tackle here. They kick early. And this will be, if it does bounce kindly for the Blues, it'll be a good outcome. It doesn't bounce kindly for them. Eldridge has to pick it up on the 0 line and gets out to the 10. So they've turned the Blues around. And you can see there's still just some of those Blues players getting back on side, and that's 2 tackles into this set. So that's clever play from the Kangaroos. Let's play it down the other end. That's Cellerino to bring the ball just out to the 20 now. They're out to the 30. And again, up in numbers, the Kangaroos side. Stuckey.
It's a good run.
From outside the 40. And this is tackle 5. Campese again. No, they don't go to Campese, they go to Williams. Williams goes for the little chip kick over the top, and that's ineffective. It is dived at and taken by the Kangaroos. So they've got the ball on their own 40. Sound the sirens and flash the lights. This is going to be dangerous. You don't give them short field, this Kangaroos side, and get away with it too often. Baxter takes it over halfway for them. Now they work it on the outside. They're still going around. Chris spun full circle. Bounces out of the tackle, still going. Turns to his right towards the posts. Drops it out the back door. And taking it inside the 20 is Cronin. Now they go across to the left. Chip kick from Hay. Probably higher than he intended. And a surrender tackle. And the Queanbeyan Blues get the ball back again, but on their own line. 19 minutes remaining. Still plenty of time here. They're only 16 points down, but they do need to score next, this Queanbeyan Blues side. How do they do it, Sonny? How do they find a hole in this Queanbeyan Roos defence? Because it's been steadfast for the last 10 minutes.
Well, they can barely get out of their own 20 at the moment. They have shown their hand a few times by trying to spread the ball wide inside their own 20, but that's a good run there. But, I mean, it's more runs like this, you know, quick play the balls and trying to get at the markers. It seems to be the way to go through the middle, but at the moment they're just struggling. But this is a much better set.
Well, that long ball from Campese actually helping them to get around, and then turning it on the further on the outside was Jordan Williams, but Williams, I'm not sure who he was aiming for out there, but in the end it just went.
Well, I think this might have been touched.
Oh, it's been touched, has it?
It has been touched.
Oh, there we go. So the Blues will get the ball from the 40. Explains why it went sailing away.
It's been a half of almost for the Blues. They've had a lot of half opportunities where if the pass goes to hand, they go close to scoring. So there are some positive signs there, and there's enough there to give them enough hope for a comeback.
Well, they score in the next couple of minutes. It'll get really interesting. Campese, as he works the ball around and finds Baker. And Baker's still going, and he goes around to the right. He will score here, I think, and he'll do it right under the posts. Well, I said if they score in the next couple of minutes, it'll be interesting. What about if they score in the next couple of seconds? Because that's what they have done. Josh Baker has not scored a lot of tries this season. In that is just his second for the 2018 season in the Canberra Raiders Cup. But he gets his side back within a dozen. The conversion will be from right in front of the sticks, so you'd imagine it'll be a fairly easy one. We'll be back to a 10-point game with 18 to play.
Yeah, some incisive stepping there from Baker, gets his team back into the game. And there's still plenty of time, 17 minutes, potentially 10 points. 2 tries in 17 minutes is very, very easy to do.
Easy conversion. Four tries, 4 conversions. 3 of those to Campese and 1 of those to Baker this afternoon. And my notebook is starting to look like a bit of a mess. Too many points being scored this afternoon. What do we got? That's 58 points in 63 minutes. Normally you'd see 34-24 with less than 20 to play. And you think it's been a game that defence has been sloppy, or as we used to say when I was a youngster, what was it, defence optional in that game? But I think the defence has been good here, but the attack has just been better.
I think we've been privy to some very impressive tries.
That has indeed helped. So, well, the Blues are not afraid to throw it around. Williams to Campese. He gets it on the outside and finds Baker. Baker steps back on the inside. 15 in from touch on his own 20, where they take the first tackle. We might get to see some real razzle-dazzle here. This Queanbeyan Blues side, as you mentioned, Sonny, they need to win today, get the points from the bye next week, and then get the win over Tuggeranong to to keep this season alive. So we may just get to see some real razzle-dazzle football.
And as you say that, well,
they cough it up.
No, I think they're going to get another set here.
Well,
double knock on. But again, you saw off the kickoff that they're very willing to throw the ball around inside their own half.
Well, they have to today. Oh, they have to now. They've got 16. They've got to score, and I've seen this Queanbeyan Kangaroos side do this on a couple of occasions this season, where they are very good at stifling other sides. They get up very, very quickly. They stand like at 10.05 metres back, and they come up incredibly quickly, and they're disciplined. They get back to 10 and they come up again, and they do it again and again, and they hit you hard. So you've got to really throw the ball around or find some way to get around or through them. Through ain't really a viable option. Now, if it's someone like Taki with a bit of size, that can happen. But for you saw Gellerino there, wasn't really going to happen. Now they work it forward through Mathers. So they're up to the 40. Queanbeyan Blues. The signal's gone out to go across to the right. They don't do that. Campese was pointing across the right. He's pointed that way again. Now this is the last tackle, so be prepared for the kick from Campese into the far corner. They don't go for the kick. They run on the last tackle again. It winds up with Eldridge. He puts it over the far side. And they're pushing, and don't tell me it's a miracle try in the far corner. I reckon it might be Zane Bidgerak who scored it over there. Good Lord. Well, the number of times we've heard people in the world of rugby league say, now I've seen everything this year, and it's not been, now I've seen everything in a good way. You see a try like that in a position where any side in any rational situation is going to kick the ball and try and get a repeat set, and the Queanbeyan Blues just throw it and score over in the far corner. And I reckon it's Zane Bidgerak who's put it down in that corner, which will be his first try in Canberra Raiders Cup competition. That's truly remarkable, and now I've seen everything.
It is, and it's a nice try for him as well. He probably doesn't remember much of his first game with the head knock, so that's a nice little present for him in his second game. And you mentioned earlier, the Blues have to throw the ball around if they're going to be any hope of coming back into this game, and they've done it a few times, and it hasn't always gone to hand, but they have looked threatening every time. And that's just another example there where they've got the ball on the outside, and it's a good run on the wing there, and it's deserved points.
And Terry Campese popping them from all over. It's just like when he was wearing the green jersey. And we've got a 4-point game. We've got 13 minutes left. This is what rugby league's all about. The local derby. Nice afternoon, plenty of sunshine. And just a few minutes remaining, about 13 remaining. There's time for 3 more tries in this one. 64 points scored in 67 minutes of footy here. There's time for 3 more tries. Absolutely loving it. John Croyder of the Canberra Raiders Cup, who we talk to quite regularly on our Bar TV coverage. We've given him the afternoon off from having a chat this afternoon. You enjoying yourself, John? Yeah, big thumbs up there. Got a big smile on his face here. The match report's just about done itself, he said. With that many tries scored, it's hardly surprising. So what have the Blues got? This is the third. And again, they've managed to get it around this Queanbeyan Kangaroo side. That's Williams. He's still going. The 30, the 20, puts it on his outside. He's got a teammate. They've scored the try. They're going to take the lead.
It's Stevens. Stevens has gone over.
So Tyler Stevens, try number 9 for the season for the try-scoring machine, ties it up. Tries off successive sets for the Queanbeyan Blues. And how important is this conversion going to be?
Well, what a turnaround, Chris. What a turnaround.
You don't lead a game 22-0 after 20 minutes and then see it all tied up 34-all with 10 to go. You just don't see that. But that's what we've had this afternoon.
It's been highly entertaining football.
That's brilliant.
Campese with an opportunity now to put his side in front for the first time.
I'm absolutely and utterly gobsmacked here. And you look at the scorers here for the Kangaroos. You look at a team sheet that says Fanua Tonga's got 2 tries, Cronin's got 1, Henderson's got 1, Crisp's got 1. Hitchin's the sole contributor from out of the forwards. Crisp's gone 5 from 6 with his conversions this afternoon, and you think, yeah, they're going to pick up the 2 points. But it's counterbalanced on the other side by Barry, Stevens, Baker, Bidgerak, Williams. And he's missed it. We're all tied up. Now let's not forget the Queanbeyan Blues have also shown a remarkable inability to actually pluck games out of the fire and have had 2 draws this season.
Well, a draw does them no good today.
Absolutely useless it'll be for them. So we could be in for about 10 minutes of the most entertaining footy we've seen in quite some time. Oh dear, he's kicked it. Has that gone out on the full?
That's out on the full.
Jeez, he's kicked the proverbial out of that. The Blues will get the penalty from right on halfway. Loving it.
The momentum well and truly with the Blues at the moment.
So they'll get the ball and they'll get it on the 30 to start. So who do they go with? They go with Mathers first. Only make a couple of metres on the first tackle. Give it to one of the big battering rams. That's Tui. There's plenty of time. There's 9 minutes. Campisi's kicked 2 field goals so far this season. I don't think they'll be looking for that option just yet. They'll want the 6. And I reckon they'll take a couple of cracks at it here. If they can't engineer a try, they'll engineer a repeat set. Oh, he's down. That's not good. Well, he's moving, so that's a better sign. That's Stuckey. I can't tell because I've got Tui and Cellerino immediately blocking my view. It is Stuckey. Well, he's okay. He's up on his feet anyway, which is better than he was a moment ago. Across to the left it comes. So McGuinness had Cellerino. Cellerino hasn't scored a try all season. That'd be a try to score your first one, wouldn't it? Campisi goes across to the right, gives it to Stuckey. Stuckey throws a little dummy, bounces off the tackle. They need to get the repeat set. Campisi saying go left. They give it to him. He's going to go a long way to the left. Oh, he's kicked it. He's rubbing it through. Oh, nearly a knock on from the Roos, but they get away with it. Pick it up again. 10 out from their own line. They got a long way to go. 8 minutes to make it. So time, not an issue, but they need to hang on to the ball. Will it come down to a moment of brilliance? Will it come down to a mistake?
Well, at this point of the game, you start to look to your big name players. Brent Crisp for the Roos and Terry Campisi for the Blues. What's it going to be?
It's Hay and Kylie. Across to the right they go. Crisp kicks for the far corner. Just wondering if that kick took a little deflection.
Oh, this is another 40-20, is it? No, it hasn't gone out.
They've hung on to it, so it comes back to Eldridge. And Eldridge gets outside the 10. I just wonder whether that kick copped a little bump on the way through, a little deflection just off the boot, but doesn't matter. It's Bidgerak. He's out to the 20.
He's good.
I'll throw it around here with Queanbeyan and Tui. Oh, he's just pushed out of 1, pushed out of 2. Now he's passed that away. It's been picked up by the Kangaroos. Oh, that might be their undoing here for the Blues. The Kangaroos player down in black play. Hitchens has the ball and he's only a couple of metres out. Steve Dunn is still down and the referee's going to call a stop to proceedings for just a moment. As done, they'll drag him out to the side.
Well, you live and die by the sword, Chris, and the offload from Tui doesn't go to a Blues hand. Gives the Roos perfect field position with 7 minutes to go.
Still time for 2 more tries. We could get a 40-all draw. I've never seen that either. Kylie, it was on that little run. And they're spread out right across to the right. Is that Nagiri? Nuku Nagiri dives for the line, scores! Oh, Nuku Nagiri. I said earlier he hadn't done a lot in attack. He'd done plenty in defence, and now he complements it with a try that puts his side back in front, 38-34, 6 minutes to go. Kick still to come. I won't say it puts the game in the bag for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, but it might just put the season in the bag for the Queanbeyan Blues, even if they come back and level it, because they've got to win. A draw doesn't do them any good.
Yeah, that's his 10th for the season, Nagiri, as well. So it's a very important conversion coming up. There is still time for the Blues, but...
Going for short? 6. They'll go short. Yeah, they will go short.
There you go. We're all expecting the short kick-off, even the referees. Well, they will now, wouldn't they, with 6 minutes remaining?
Yeah, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, you go short. What? If he goes right side, you go short. Well, if he just got straight back, because I want a quick kick-off. Yeah, but he's on the front of his line. Yeah. So he jumps right. You jump short, I'll go long. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the refereeing duties worked out. We know who's doing what.
Get this right.
All sorted.
It's been good all game, mate. Pump up. It's so much discussion. Pump up. So much discussion before they screwed up.
Just when you thought all the momentum was with the Blues. An error off the kick-off. And the Roos hit straight back.
You'll notice that Crisp is taking all the time in the world with this conversion.
Yeah, it's usually around this time that the magic cramp starts to kick in as well.
Maybe now.
Put it away to the left, so suddenly, well, it means that the field goal's not necessarily going to be needed. A converted try will win it, you would imagine now. I said when there was 11 minutes, there was time for 3 more tries. We've had 2 and we've got 5 left, and the Blues go for the short kick-off, and they do retrieve the ball. So there's part 1. And now they've got the penalty as well. So they'll have 3 minutes and 20 metres. Oh, this is what rugby league's all about.
Well, this is their season.
I reckon that was Stuckey with the first run. Sensible move to go to him. He's had a blinder this afternoon.
Go, 1.
They rush it forward. They're 10 out.
Get square 9.
Cellerino almost to the line.
Go,
Campese runs back to the right. Goes a long ball on the outside. Might be Stevens who's got it in there. It's very hard to pick him up. And that changing light and the shadows on the far side of the ground. And they're trying to scurry it through. This is the last. They've got to go for the repeat set.
go.
If they can't get the try. So Campese works it to the left. Williams ducks the tackle when he's trying to kick. He tries to get the ball away, and he gets the ball away, but it's only as far as a Queanbeyan Kangaroos defender. It's Nagiri again.
Yeah, it's a disappointing end to the set there. Needed to get some sort of kick away or at least force a repeat set.
The Blues will get one more chance, but in all probability it'll be a long range attempt. We've seen them do that a couple of times this afternoon. The Roos know they've got to get the ball up the other end of the park. Did that ball come free? It did for just a second. It came free. There's a hand, I think it was Mariner had a hand on it. And now the Roos, they could almost kill the clock here. That's Ayres. What's he at, the 20? Scoring a try would also kill this game as a contest.
It's a good tackle down low from Tui.
Into the last 2 minutes, Hitchens. That was him. Crisp again. Double pumps. Finds Grant. Grant inside the 20. Crisp shapes left, goes right. Nagiri puts it on the outside, finds his winger in Tuckwell, and Tuckwell scores. And that shuts the final chapter, you'd imagine, on the Queanbeyan Blues for season 2018. as Ryan Tuckwell gets his first try of the afternoon, his 4th try of the season. And we're pretty close to done here. 42-34, kick to come. And despite some of the miracles we've seen in rugby league in recent months, I don't think we're going to see 2 tries scored in the last minute.
No, it was a well-worked piece of play, coming back to the blind side, and it was a good final ball from Nagiri to put Tuckwell over. Unfortunately for Blues fans, it makes it a lot more difficult to finish in that top 4 now.
I'd suggest there were 3 points out of the top 4 coming into today. They've got 2 points coming for the bye next week and 1 more game.
I think they've got 1 more game. Let me just have a look. Yeah, they've got Goulburn next week.
Oh, they got 2 more games. They got possible 6 points, but they'll probably be 5 points outside the top 4.
And they do end their regular season against Tuggeranong.
There are two words that no side ever wants to hear at this stage of the season: mathematical possibility. But that's all it'll be for the Queanbeyan Blues, a mathematical possibility, and the flame could be completely extinguished next week. Siren sounds as Crisp comes in for the conversion from literally the sideline. It's a pretty good kick, but it's just short and away to the left. He won't care. 42 points to 34, the final scoreline. What a cracking game of football this has been this afternoon, Sonny.
Yeah, we've seen some wonderful attacking football here today. So, look, a well-deserved win by the Roos. The Blues were brave. They managed to bring the game back when they were 22-0 down, back to 22-16 or 22-18 at one point. But they've just been a little bit unlucky. They've made a few key errors at key times, particularly off the kickoff, and it's just cost them here today.
What do we get? We got 22-0. Back to 22-18, 34-18, 34 all, 42-34 at the end of the game. The man of the match task this afternoon, that's not an easy one. Actually, I reckon. Now we'll have the interview on Bar TV later, but I reckon we've got probably one candidate. You'll find out who that is in a few minutes, but we'll let's have a look. There's plenty of players who could get it. Cronin was in everything. Henderson produced at good times. Hay gave good direction from out of halfback. I was really impressed with Elton actually at dummy half across the course of the day as well. The forwards produced a lot, but we can't say Steve Dunn scored the try because he didn't. It went to Crisp in the end. Crisp had another good day, but Crisp did what Crisp does. Whanua Tonga 2 tries, both of which were quite spectacular, but also provided a lot more than just some finishing skills in there. So plenty of options for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos this afternoon for man of the match.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think there have been a lot of contributors on the field for them. I think they got a lot of impact off the bench as well. I thought Hitchens was very good off the bench. Most of their backs, apart from Grant, actually ended up on the scoreboard today. So he might be the one buying drinks post-game.
Could be.
But I thought Chris was very good at 5'8". Again, he controlled the game well. His kicking game was solid. He had a lot of try assists and he scored one himself. But I think Tonga on the wing was phenomenal as well. He almost acts as an additional forward for them. Makes a lot of post-contact metres, and when you're starting your sets off 20-30 metres out as opposed to 10-15, it makes a big difference.
So the man of the match interview, you'll see that a bit later on Bar TV, and of course our man of the match picks up thanks to the Raiders Group of Clubs, a $50 voucher that they can use on anything they like at the club. So that announcement coming up shortly. For the Queanbeyan Blues, a tale really of what could have been this afternoon, and probably really for season 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can hold their heads up high. They put in a very solid performance. They were a bit unlucky at times, but again, as I mentioned before, it was just some key errors at key times that just killed them in the end. They did so well to get the game back to 34 all, and then it was one forced offload, which to their respect, that's what got them back into the game. So you don't want to go too far away from the game plan, but in the end it backfired, and the try kind of broke them from there. So, but a decent performance, and they had some very solid performers there. I thought Stuckey was very, very good for them.
He's
probably their best on the day. I thought Williams looked sharp when he chose to run the ball, and Campese provided good direction as he usually does.
So fascinating afternoon of football. The Queanbeyan derby, it never fails. It never fails to produce excitement. And this afternoon, look, I'm on the record as saying, I don't really like these ultra high scoring games terribly often, but this afternoon I think we can really say it was the exception to that, because 76 points scored in total, 42-34 in a game that it meant a lot to both sides. The Queanbeyan Kangaroos needed to win to keep in touch with top spot. There's still a hope of top spot, but certainly they want to lock up a top 2 and give themselves that double chance in the final series. The Queanbeyan Blues, they needed to win this afternoon, and 20 minutes in, they could have been forgiven for packing it all up and saying, no, we're done for the season, let's just play some bruise-free footy, get out of here, go back and start the end-of-season drinks. But they came back, they levelled it with about 15 to go, but they didn't quite have enough gas in the tank. The stats for this afternoon, in terms of scorers, we think we've got them all correct. We've got 2 tries to Whanua Tonga, tries to Brian Cronin, Ty Henderson, Ryan Tuckwell, Brent Crisp, Nuku Nagiri and Josh Hitchens for the Queanbeyan Kangaroos, and I have Brent Crisp down with 5 from 7 with the boot. How does that tally with your sheet?
I've got 5 from 8, but I'm going to back you in there.
I'll take 5. Oh no, I didn't mark down the one at the very end, so I'll take 5 from 8. Yep, the 5's the important number. And then for the Queanbeyan Blues, tries to Barry, Stevens, Baker, Bidgerak, first try to him in the Canberra Raiders Cup competition, Williams and Stuckey. That would be 6 tries, and we had 5 conversions, 4 to Campese, he went 4 from 5, and Baker was 1 from 1 in the immediate aftermath of Terry Campese being binned about 10 minutes or 9 minutes and 45 seconds before half time. Not a great deal else that we can throw out there this afternoon, other than to say, Sonny, I hope you've enjoyed your rugby league commentary debut this afternoon.
That's fantastic. Thanks for having me, Chris.
We'll do it all again next week. I have absolutely no idea where we are going to be next week, because we sort of we're on a floating fixture, the floating roster to try and bring you games that are going to have the most impact on the finals. So we'll leave that to the wonderful people at the Canberra Raiders Cup competition to tell you that via their website during the course of next week. But I can tell you it'll be Saturday afternoon, and Sonny, we'll have your company again next Saturday.
Can't wait.
Absolutely. On behalf of everyone involved in the Canberra Raiders Cup, the Ospreys Canberra Raiders Cup, and thank you to our big friends at Bloomers Personal Injury Lawyers as well for their support this afternoon. On behalf of everyone at Bar TV, and on behalf of my co-commentator Sonny Singh, this is Chris Coleman signing off from Sears Workwear Oval in Queanbeyan, where the home side have got up in the derby. The Queanbeyan Kangaroos 42 over the Queanbeyan Blues 34. We'll catch you next week.